I'm Serenity and I'm with Rachel, and we are collectivizing for Rachel and Serenity Speaks, which is a truth-telling movement that you can jump on board and be a part of. It's a campaign for justice. It's a campaign exposing corruption within the fields of human trafficking. We are two human trafficking survivors and ongoing victims of UK government abuse. We both have overlaps with one another. We are in dire need at the moment, but we are also championing for other victims and survivors in this movement. So we're going to discuss about the current situation between both of us, what we're both individually going through, and also the overlaps with our experiences. Rachel, do you want to talk about what you're currently going through right now? Because I mean, it's been really, really dire this last week for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the past really 3 weeks for both of us has been horrible. Just to give a little bit of background, I'm American born. I'm currently located in the UK. I was born into human trafficking. My family are parts of a generational elite and international trafficking ring. In 2015, I was trafficked out of the US to Europe, and I've been trapped in the UK since 2016. Whenever I was around 2017, I was inducted into the UK's National Referral Mechanism, which claims it's a support structure for victims of trafficking. It's entirely corrupt, and it was a means for trafficking me, and it has also set me up. I was coerced to claim asylum in the UK, which is very interlinked with the NRM, the National Referral Mechanism. And that system has been used to abuse me and to traffic me, just as the NRM was. And so all of my basic rights have been stripped from me, and I have no rights to work. I don't have any documentation. I don't have any ID. I have no rights to public funds, meaning government support. And everything that I've had to do to get creative to survive has been intercepted and obstructed, like electronically accessing money, even having an Airbnb account. So it's hard to exist day to day. And I encountered Serenity a little over a year ago. And she has had a lot of overlaps in her experience, even though we were born in different countries. Do you want to share some about your background and how you came to where you are today?
Yeah, I come from a background where there was abuse in the family home from childhood. I was also introduced to Epstein in my childhood, was abused by Epstein around that time also. I then was victimized by a grooming gang for a few years before being sex trafficked for a number of years throughout various places in the UK. I then also went through the NRM process as well, so I have many overlaps with your experience, Rachel, with that. And then, you know, when I fled, which is the same situation for a lot of, basically all trafficking victims, it led to homelessness, and through this homelessness I was forced to flee to the government, the very entity that was actually responsible for what had happened to me. Things started to unravel as I started to discover the overlaps and the interlinks of the corruption, and I'm currently now I have been experiencing deliberate induced homelessness now for many, many years. It's been a trap that's been so hard to get out of. I also have a young child to think about, so it's really difficult having to bring a child through that process when I'm doing my absolute best to try and protect my child, you know, and prevent that from happening. But it's got to the point now where the only way that I can really see this changing is by actually reaching out to the community at large and lifting up voices, actually, and saying, you know, this is what's happening, this is what's going on, because there's a huge concerted effort on the part of the system to keep people like myself and yourself quiet and to keep us silent. And I feel like the only thing that we actually have left at the moment is our voices. So the only way to get through this is to use them.
Yeah, good point. Literally, the only thing we have left is our voices. Everything has been stripped from us. The rights, the civil and human rights that everybody else is afforded are completely obstructed for us. And so, as Serenity said, for a lot of victims of trafficking, in their efforts to reclaim their sovereignty and in their efforts for freedom, you end up homeless. And it's actually engineered. The destitution that we are experiencing and the homelessness is engineered. And this has been ongoing for us for years. I've been homeless for most of my adult life, which is 15 years. And Serenity had reached out to me a little over a year ago, a year and a half ago, I think, because she had heard of the content I was creating, exposing the corruption in the NRM, which mirrored her experience with it. And so the more we talked, the more we realized we have so many overlaps, including Epstein. Epstein was my father's friend, and my father was conscripted to work with Epstein in the trafficking network. And we have so much evidence. We have so much evidence for historical trafficking and for what's going on right now. And we are completely dedicated to exposing it. And as Serenity said, we won't get through this without your help, without the community rallying together. What our real goal is, it's not just to survive. If we were just to survive, that would be living to be tortured another day. That is not the goal. Our goal is to slay the beast, to expose everything, to name the perpetrators, to explain how the systems of abuse work, and to put this on, to shout it from a megaphone, to have a large platform where this is getting a lot of exposure. We've been creating content already, exposing things. It has to be a movement. So that's why we've created this channel, so that you can follow us on our journey as we expose things and join us, join in the revolution and get active.
So people can get on board with this campaign in small steps. You know, if you're able to donate individually to us and our individual circumstances, it's obviously hugely appreciated, because the struggle is every day at the moment. Just trying to achieve basic needs, you know. Alternatively, if you're not in a position to donate finances, then just, you know, uplifting this movement through small things of bringing about self-awareness of what constitutes trafficking, you know, how it manifests, how systems are integrated to support and uphold trafficking. And we'll be talking more about that as we go along with this process. And we'll also be talking more about our links and overlaps with Epstein in the next discussion that we have. So you can join us through this process.
So please do join us on this movement. We need your support urgently. Serenity and I and her child were struggling to feed ourselves, to have a roof over our heads. Just in the past 2 days, I didn't get to eat. Do you know what it's like when you don't know when you will eat next? And you can't function. You can't function in that state when you're literally hungry. And this is something that is reoccurring. You know, I budget into my week what days I'm going to eat. So this is not functional. If we are going to slay the beast, we have to have our basic needs met. Serenity is moving around with her child. I'm having to move around. I mean, it's every few days or every week, and we're constantly scrambling to find a way to get a roof over our head and just to have food and basic necessities. But also the longer term goal is to pursue legal justice. It is to expose things in the media. Thankfully, we are working with a journalist right now to expose things, but it is very slow going when you have to focus mostly on providing basic needs. And so help us get out of that cycle and fast track us to these goals. Serenity has already had an article published which highlighted her experiences of corrupt government housing and social services. And so you'll find all of our links, our different platforms with the link tree that's in the description box below. And do subscribe to our backup channels because we can expect YouTube to censor us. So follow, subscribe, donate any amount that is feasible for you because it does make a difference. £10 makes all the difference to us. And it's also encouraging. It lets us know that people are paying attention and they're wanting to help. It lifts us out of despair and into hope. So also sharing the fundraiser inspires hope and encouragement as well. If you actually can't contribute right now, we understand that. We've been there. It's where we are now. But if you can share this far and wide, share our information as well as the fundraiser far and wide. And we will continue on with this channel, giving you regular updates with our mission, with our well-being and our safety. And we're going to give you some evidence videos as well, showing the abuse and corruption we've endured. Thank you, everyone, for being witnesses to this, to joining the movement, and for supporting and contributing in whatever way you can. It means so much to us. So thank you.